Hey guys, Tracy with the Rhapsody Art Barn, and I had a live yesterday. If you didn't catch it, I did this tray. I still need to paint the back of it, but the front is done, and I used a technique where I chippy painted it, and then we put the inlay over the top of it, and now it's just too white. It's too white. So I'm gonna do some finishing touches today. And then I also did this gorgeous crock. It was made in Italy, but it was just a kitchen crock, not an original crock. And then we put some of the Winter Forage molds by IOD on there. Aren't those adorable? I got more coming in if I'm out. I think I might have one left. I don't know. I might have sold it. And I am going to be finishing both of these with a little bit of wax, a little bit of oil wax on this one, and we'll see how it turns out. So wax typically is the last thing you do, right? So once you go wax, you don't go back usually. So this is Sweet Pickins oil wax, and this is the clear, and both of them, all of them, white, black, dark, which this is the dark, and clear, you have to mix because the pigment separates inside the oil. So you want to make sure that you're really doing a good job of this. This has already been clear coated because I did an inlay. So I always spray it with the poly spray. Or you can use like my big top in water and spray it that way, but I polished it. I did. I can still smell it though. Chemicals, probably not good. So the reason I pull out a clear every time I pull out a dark wax is, I guess I have to get something for this, hold on, is because the clear acts as an eraser. So if you are going to be darkening your piece and you get it too dark, you can use the clear wax to act as an eraser. So I always bring some out. I may not need it this time because I have a poly on this, a top coat seal. Okay, so I promised I would come back in and do all this. So here I am. It's definitely fall is in the air. So I'm doing Christmas projects because that's what just came out. Okay, so this is an oil, you guys. That is a sticky, gooey oil. And we're going to just emphasize the darker spots. That would normally be darker. And I'm just gonna deepen this bright, it's not even a bright white I used vintage linen. But I'm gonna deepen the color of the white all over it. And you can use a rag, a soft cloth would work really well for this. My paper towels are pretty lightweight, pretty soft, so. Okay, so once the oil wax is on, I don't know if you can see that subtle difference. Kind of takes on a less bright look. Lost my baby wipes, but I'm just gonna take a little towel here. I let it sit on here for about 10-15 minutes or so, and then I'm gonna wipe back the excess. I don't want it to look totally grungy. I just want it to look not bright white, brand new. I'm just gonna take a little bit of that sheen, it's like a oily sheen on it, off, wipe a little more of the product back, and everything that has seeped in by now. And then it will still dry up in here a little bit more. And it just looks a little more authentic. Ready? Okay, so that one's done and it's gonna set over here. And I'm going to grab my next project, which is my clay pot here. So this is the DIY paint. The first coat that was on it, the crockery, was the DIY cottage colors, and it gave a nice, super smooth finish. This you'll see is thicker and more textured. This is the DIY clay-based original paint. Does not have a sealer. Oh, you can see a lot of the white underneath. I'm not gonna worry too much about that. I did go back in. This was my live from yesterday, and so I went back in today and kind of touched up some of the areas because clay will shrink up and separate. And I did do that. I probably should have turned it upside down, but maybe I'll do a little bit of that painting and I'll come back. Yeah, I did touch up a lot of that white that used to be there, and you'll see how dark that green gets. That green is dark from being wet. That's the original color, and you'll see that this paint turns a lot lighter once it's dry. It dries very quickly after the initial clay that we put on it dried all the way through overnight. This stuff is pretty warm, so let's get to crack lacking on this. We're gonna try to get a little bit of clear wax on it to finish it. I'm almost out of clear wax, but this stuff does stretch pretty far, so we'll see if we can get enough on here. And you'll watch it go right back to the darker color as we moisturize the paint. Now, I will say that this wax does turn different colors on your project. The freak out factor is an issue with some people. So if you're worried about the modelly appearance, just put the wax on and walk away, and when you come back, it will all be back to normal. Because sometimes it doesn't absorb evenly and it will look funny for a while. Just ignore it. Make sure you get enough on there and then just walk away. I know that it'll go back, so I'm not worried about it. You'll see through it. You'll see a lot of color variation, all sorts of things that can happen with this wax. Okay, so I am just brushing it on with this wax brush. This is my favorite, the Posh Chalk wax brush, but you can use any of the DIY paint brushes. The French tip works really well in getting in the crevices. And then there are also big Mama Jamma ones if you're doing furniture that I have in stock on the website, rhapsodyartbarn.com. Okay. So I'm basically just putting it all over the clear all over. Now, I've done kind of a base coat. So when you're dealing with wax, just like the oil wax, the clear acts as an eraser or a barrier. So now it has a barrier on it. So as I add different types of wax to it, I can wipe it back. And I can actually use the other as a can't even think right now, as an eraser. Okay, so this is, oops, I grabbed the wrong brush. This is my white. I just used my clear brush on my white, so I have to get that off. This is my white, and usually I use the lid and I just tamp it back because I really don't want that much. And honestly, I'll probably just grab a little rag, and I'm going to start real light, and we're going to make this look Christmassy, right? So we're going to put some snow on this. Kind of what it feels like when I do the white. I'm going to flock it a little bit. And again, if you don't like the look of this, wipe it back. You've already put that clear coat on. You can change it to dark and see how you like that. It does not take very much of this white to change the look. So start with a little bit, see how you like it, and then keep adding slowly. Make sure that that's the look you're going for. I did say that wax is last, and that typically is the case. However, what you can do is embed dirt or dust. DIY has a decrepit dust. Some people call it dirt. There's a dusty product that we're gonna put a little bit on the pine cones and deepen them a little bit. This decrepit dust. And I'm gonna do, this one is in warm. And it actually goes into the wax, which is why you do your wax first. And I think it'll be okay to put over the white. I have not tried that yet. So we're just gonna see how it goes. Otherwise, I usually stick it into clear or dark. We'll try it. Now this white is letting all those details show now. You see all those details? Aren't those gorgeous? I'm just gonna try to get some of this inside those crevices that look darker green still. So pretty. Now again, you can wipe it back as little or as much as you want. Keep the top more snowy. Wipe back the base. Add more white if you like. Doesn't really matter. Whatever your preference is. But tomorrow when I come in, I will buff this thing and it will set to a rock hard finish. And I don't have to do anything else to this. But I will tell you that wax does degrade over time. So if you ever see a piece of furniture that's been waxed and it's starting to look not as polished or good as it used to look, you might want to give it another coat of wax. Okay, I think that's gorgeous. Love the way that looks. And remember, this will even out. Let that dry. That's still the freak out factor. So these different color variations, don't worry about that. Let it dry. I'm just worried about the white right now because that stuff will set hard once you leave it, the wax. It will become a rock hard finish. Gorgeous. Okay, let's see if we can embed a little bit of this warm. I might need to use a little more clear wax. This is the DIY warm. It's kind of a cinnamon color. There is a dark and a white. This is the warm. I do not have a wax brush handy for this, so I'm gonna steal a old paintbrush that I don't care about anymore that might be frayed at the tip. He's afraid. And then I'm just going to dust this over that wax, and it's gonna go down into those crevices. And I might have to build it up a little as I go. That's okay. But this is made to embed into the wax. I'm gonna really pounce it in there. I want it to go deep down in. I want it to become kind of that pine coney rusty look. I don't want it to be down here. And it is going to change the look of that white. That's okay for me. I kind of wanted it to be a pine cone looking. More than I wanted it to be snow covered, but I can add some more white if I choose to as well. Gorgeous. How do you like that? Is that pretty? on the other pine cone. So this brush is ruined, just so you know. Don't use a good brush for this. This brush is not going to be used for anything except this kind of thing forevermore now, if I even save it. And you can do a little bit on your branches if you want. Got a couple branches over here. I got a big branch over here. Give it some depth and dimension. Okay, let's see. Around the edges, can you see some of that brown is going through those branches? So pretty. Looks like I got a lot concentrated in this area. I'm going to brush some of that out. Same with this. Brush some of this out. So pretty. Okay, let's go back in with my white brush. I'm just going to kind of just barely touch the top of this again to get some of those edges, bring back some of that detail. Oh, I love that. What do you guys think? Okay, he's going to even out. I'm going to let him dry. I'm going to buff him to a rock hard finish tomorrow, and we'll take pictures and see how you like it.